be so good to you. I could 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 be so good to you.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sheridan, and I'm back with yet another video. Hey, besties, y'all. Faith It Friday has been a hit, and now I'm so overly excited to chat with one of our favorite influencers, y'all. She has a YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, which is just amazing. I've looked up to her for years. I've been on her platform twice, and now she's coming onto mine. Y'all, she has all the tea and all the scoop and the celebrity gossip atmosphere. So y'all give it up for Miss Lailah Lynn. That's genuinely my response. Like, I have been watching
so much.
Years, so.
I appreciate that introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. One thing that I love about Lailah, you guys, if y'all have not subscribed to her, go ahead and subscribe and peep her tag name down there. I'm sure y'all already know who she is. I love the fact that you are fabulously feminine, fabulously yourself, and you show up in this male-dominated field of YouTube, and you can't tell. So I love it.
Thank you. You know, it's funny how we have our different perspectives, because I've had men say to me that they feel like the celebrity news sector is female-dominated. And then how you say you feel like it's male-dominated. I guess we all have our different points of view.
Yes, for sure. Because although I can understand why people would think that celebrity gossip is female dominated, but when you look on TV, you know,
world period, especially in media,
in media. So I'm elated to even talk to you. And you have over 300,000 subscribers. So you somebody, you ain't just out here in these streets doing nothing. I love it. So today we are talking to you about having faith in yourself, faith in your brand, and faith in your God. So let me ask you this. When you were a little girl, how did you dream your life would be? Like, what did you think your dream career was?
I thought I would be a lawyer. Like, you know how people ask little kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
I would say an attorney. And that was something me and my mom practiced together. But I really did believe it as I got older and started, studying different things, like different careers. I really did like law. I did think I was going to be an attorney. At that point, blogging was not an option. It was not, it was not a career field, but I liked law, but then I also did like media. And when I initially went to college, my first major was mass media. So I did always like media, even in high school. Like I did the high school newspaper. I used to be interviewing people and stuff. So I did always like writing and media, but I always thought I would be an attorney.
Well, an attorney makes sense because you do throw those cease and desist right on the way.
Talk to me, Wayne.
Okay. If y'all follow her, y'all know what I'm talking about. So my second question is, was your family, you talked about your mom, was your family influential in helping you to cultivate your dreams? So some people come from like well-off families where, you know, when you graduate, you get this or whatever. And some of us are the first success stories that our families have seen. So how has your family or how has your background aided you in your career?
That is a good question, but I feel like 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I would have answered it differently than now. As far as my family, like I'm a second generation college graduate. So my mom and my dad instilled the importance of like going to college and getting an education, getting a skill. But what I do now, blogging, I don't feel like I necessarily had to go to college to do it. Or necessarily had to get a degree to do it. Like it does require some education. Because it requires so much critical thinking, but I don't feel like I'm as adamant I want my kids to go to college. I want them to be educated. But if they come to me with a plan for something else, I think I'm more open to that than my parents were. Like my parents were like, you have to go to college. But at the same time, like I didn't have, like I had scholarships to go to college. I had to like work, like I had ROTC scholarship to go to college. So I had to like work. Like I didn't have it handed to me, but they were still very adamant, like, girl, you better do this.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Layla, but besties, have you heard that the prayer journal is available for pre-order right now at www.whenitgirlspray.com. Whenitgirlspray.com, you can go on and pre-order your prayer journal. Isn't it pretty? And other merch. Whenitgirlspray.com. All right, Layla, back to you.
I feel that because same here in terms of you better go to college. And I was like, I don't want to go. that was something I wanted to do, but we move on.
Right.
At that time, with you going to school, you talked about the fact that being a blogger was not necessarily a thing. The same with being an influencer. That was not a term as of yet. That term is very new. So when did you know you wanted to be a blogger? Like, tell us your influencer story.
My influencer story. I would say it actually starts around the time, like around the birth of my daughter. My daughter is 9 now. So initially I was doing like a natural hair blog. I used to post like natural hair videos and mommy and me videos with me and my daughter. So I guess you would consider that blogging. I don't know if I was trying to be an influencer. My goal was 5,000 subscribers. I was like, I just want my 5,000 subscribers. We can come on, talk about our hair, just little stuff. It wasn't supposed to be like a big blog. It was supposed to be like more like a hobby and people to talk to about, you know, things that we have in common. And I don't even know if I consider myself an influencer now, but as far as being a blogger, once my videos started to go viral, like once I started doing celebrity news and it started going viral, I started getting paid. That's when I started wanting to be a blogger. Like when the money started rolling in.
Yeah.
That
could be a thing. I love it. So literally the thought of being a full-time content creator, like even if we don't say influencer, content creator, is still taboo. Like people often say stuff like, go get a real job or things of that nature, even though these influencers and content creators are making bank. Who are at the highest level. And so my question to you is, did you ever have anyone in your corner that boosted your faith in this dream? Because you go from wanting to be an attorney, you just started doing this as a hobby. Is there anybody in your corner like, nah, Lailah, you got this. You can actually make a living at this.
I would say my mom, because my mom is a twin, and her twin, they big up everything that any of us do. Like any of me, my brother, my cousin, my husband, anything we do, they make it like that's the biggest thing ever. Like, oh, my daughter doing this, my niece doing that. So I would say my family, like my mom, my aunt specifically, made me feel like it's a thing. Like you could do this. And telling people, you know, my daughter is doing this. Have you seen my niece? Like I would say them too.
Okay, I love that for you. And you mentioned your husband. Like, how is that finding that balance? Because getting viral and getting the amount of followers or subscribers that you have is not easy. How do you find the balance? Because you have children, you're a wife, and you're a person. How do you find the balance with all of those things?
Thank you for including that, right? Because I count. I count. I love that you included that. I count too. But yeah, there are always things needing my attention, like my family and stuff needing my attention. I can't say that it's a perfect balance. I do my best, but I don't feel like it's a perfect balance at all. In my case, it leans kind of more towards my family, to be honest with you, because my kids are so young. It's like they need me. Like I can't. You can't really tell your kids no, you know what I mean? Like you gotta be there for your kids. So I wouldn't say it's a balance. I would say it's more like my family have a heavier weight. And even if you look at how often I post, it's not the same as other people who are big in this field. I don't post as often, and that's because it's not a balance.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's not. I love that for you. Because I feel like there's this pressure, like I'm not a wife or mother yet. But I do feel like for women, there's this pressure to either have the family or be an awesome career woman. And I think it's awesome that you are able to have both, but my family and I come first. I think
Yeah.
that's really dope because some people they they either try to do both or and fail. They don't realize what their priorities are until your kid is 18 and they're like, "Ma'am, I don't know you." So
Yeah.
it's so much, but you can't really fault that person because you are an individual as well. So I love to hear everybody's answers on that. Um, if you can, tell me about a time when you had to bet on yourself.
Oh gosh. That's kind of how I started. Like when I left my job, it was kind of like betting on myself. I left my job around the time I was pregnant with my daughter. It was just I was working for a bank, and it was just a toxic work environment. Like looking back at the time, I didn't have the words for it, but looking back, it was a toxic work environment. And so I did excuse myself from that environment. And at the time, I was like, I can do better, by myself.
Yeah,
Um, and even then, I wasn't actually like making money blogging then. But even without that, I still was like, I could do better by myself.
yeah,
Um, so I bet on myself, even though I didn't know what I was going to do. I still bet on myself, like, I'm going to do something and it's going to be better than this. And it had to do with, you know how they say when you're pregnant, like your baby feels your feelings, like it's chemicals. When you have different feelings like sadness and things like that, it's chemicals. And when I was pregnant, I was like, y'all not going to do this to my baby.
okay.
I was like, no, ma'am, no,
Yeah.
ma'am. And so that's why I bet on myself, because I was like, y'all not giving my baby these bad vibes.
Yeah. I love that you said I didn't really know what I was betting on, but I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I have people who watch me who desire to be influencers or desire to be content creators, and I feel like sometimes I'm just be honest about my channel. Like I have tried different things, figuring out what exactly I want it to be. And I think that's okay, guys. So like if you don't know exactly what you're doing, just know that I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
And take the first step.
Yeah, that's like I was saying when I started, it wasn't even a celebrity news blog. It was like a mommy and me natural hair blog. And it is important. I always tell people that too, like be flexible with the type of content you create. Like see what people like from you and don't be afraid to try new things, just throw it out there and be who you are, like put who you are out there and don't be afraid to do that.
I love that. Okay, so everyone has their own relationship with God. So we've already talked about having faith in your brand and in yourself. Now let's talk about God a little bit. I love to talk to you about this because you're still doing your second channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a third channel too. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that's why I say it like that. But yeah.
Okay. So Lailah is actually talking about her evolution in faith, and I love that for you. Figuring out who God is to you in contrast to what you have been taught, what you currently believe. I love that. So everyone has their own relationship with God. How do you personally hear from God, and how do you cultivate that relationship?
I would say through prayer and through like journaling, like when I'm praying and writing down like my thoughts. I feel like I might write down a question I have like of God, and I feel like in a short time period, like the next time I journal, I feel like he'll answer that question.
Yeah.
So if you look at my journal, you can see it. You can see the question, you can see the answer, like you can see it all come together.
I love that.
Yeah, so I feel like that's how I communicate with God, through prayer. And as far as cultivating it, I would say just I don't want to use the word consistency because I feel like that word is used so often, and it's almost like I know some people consistency is a challenge for them, but I would just say tenacity. Like even if I don't journal every day, even if it's a week between when I journal, that doesn't mean I stop journaling. Like never giving up on that relationship. I put it that way.
Yeah. And you're intentional.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you even write. Like, you know, sometimes we kind of pray on the go, which is not wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong, anybody who does that. But when you're talking about cultivating any relationship, I think it's important to be intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So give us a scenario. We're going to get in your business a little bit.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see if you get my business.
A little bit. You have the right to tell us, girl, mind your business, and we're going to be all right with that.
But you know, I like to talk about other people.
Right. But if you can, for inspiration's sake, if you can give us a moment or a time in your life period where you feel like, ooh, nobody but God got me out of that one.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I feel like that every month.
Yes.
It's been a lot. Let me think of one I can share where nobody but God helped me out. Well, the one I just shared about how when I left my job, I didn't have another job. I didn't have a blog. That was nobody but God, you know, putting things together for me. Because I wouldn't have been, if I had still been working that job, I wouldn't have been making YouTube videos of me and my daughter. Like I wouldn't have been in a creative space. You know what I mean? Because that job was toxic. So I would say even there, nobody but God, you know, help me. Can I say every day? Nobody but God. I feel like, you know, life is a challenge. Like every day is challenges. Absolutely. And I feel like every day is God, you know, walking with me and talking with me and helping me through everything every day. But that would be a big one as far as, you know, my career. That would be a big one.
What's crazy is, so you are the third influencer that I've asked this question to. And all of y'all have answered the same.
The same. Like every day.
Like, every day, but let me try to get I love that.
Girl, I'm going through it.
I love it. And it's the facial expression. Everybody at the same time, like, woo, every day, girl.
I can't wait to see this series.
I can't either. I'm so excited. Okay. So my other question to you about God is, how has your faith in God contributed or challenged your success as an entrepreneur or a digital content creator? And let me ask you specifically because you are the one to me when it comes to this celebrity news and entertainment sector. Now, some people say it's gossip, whatever, but you grew up like I grew up. Okay. So when we say gossip, it's very negative. It's very, I'm dropping this story. I'm just telling this person, somebody emailed me this tea, You have ever delivered the story in a way that is, to me, it's not gossipy, it's news. Like,
yeah.
You know, so how did you do that?
Well, initially, I used to shy away from that title, gossip, like gossip blog. I would never say I had a gossip blog. I always say celebrity news and an entertainment blog. And I remember talking to my cousin about it because my cousin had called me a gossip blogger. And I was like, girl, I don't be gossiping. And I had sent her the definition. And the definition was like unfettered talk about someone. Like it was really negative. Like you just saying anything and talking crazy. Yeah. And I was like, girl, I do not be talking crazy. But then she sent me back another definition, and it was basically if you're speaking on things that are unsubstantiated, that is gossip. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, some of the things I will always say, you know, this is alleged, you know what I mean? But by that definition, it is gossip. And so I remember I was watching another gossip blogger, and she was pointing out how a lot of people come down on bloggers, even like reality TV stars. But then what you see them doing on reality TV, when you see them going amongst each other, they're gossiping. Yeah. So it's like everybody gossips. It's not, to me, I don't take that word or that title. I don't take it as a bad thing anymore. I just take it as a thing. And so if someone was to call my blog a gossip blog, I don't take it as an insult anymore, because some of the things are unsubstantiated, but I do it in what I consider a professional way. Like, I do it in the most tactful way that I know how.
Absolutely.
So I don't feel like, because I don't do too much church gossip anymore. I will say that. I used to talk about people in the church, and I did stop doing that. But it wasn't because I felt convicted. It was because the comments, it was like, I would get comments like, from people in the church saying that I was gossiping, using that word in a negative way, saying that I shouldn't be doing it. And I would always be like, but you watching, like, why are you watching?
Literally.
Right. Why you watching? And so after a certain point, it was like, you know what? I'm going to not make this content for them to watch. You know what I mean? Like, they have an issue with people reporting on, leaders in the gospel music community, the church community. They have an issue with it, but then they still watch it. So let me just eliminate my part in all of that and not make the content for them to watch and judge. And so I don't do that type of content anymore.
Okay. Well, let me tell y'all real quick, that just reminded me of my own tea. So those of y'all who know, I have been back and forth in these YouTube streets for literally so many years. Like, I want to be YouTube, I don't want to be YouTube.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Time I have actually been committed to YouTube, so like, I'm official now. Like, I'm not going anywhere. But 10 years ago, my first thought in doing YouTube was, well, I definitely thought about doing the natural hair. I've had natural hair since I think I started transitioning in 2009 when I graduated high school. And then my second was, before there was a Larry Reed, there was going to be a me. Okay.
Wow, that's saying a lot, girl.
Okay, no, not that harsh, but no, I was going to call it Sweet Tea.
I like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to call it Sweet Tea, and I was going to talk about the church gossip, but put a sprinkle of sweetness on there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do too, girl. But
you what? They love to hate it, but you're still subscribed. So,
right.
So that was the only thing that kept me from doing it. People's reactions to people like obnoxious. I can't remember who else, like King Jives and people like that. Their reactions, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm built for that. So I'm gonna just.
I don't know if that's the circle you want to be in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, nothing against them. I don't know obnoxious. I do know Jives. I talk to Jives, but I just mean as far as the way people perceive them. I don't know if they want to be perceived in that same way. Even Larry Reed, people handle it negative. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though Reed has kind of completely changed the way he delivers stuff now, but I absolutely know for a fact that I could have never handled it. And being a female in that space, I absolutely could. Baby, they would have came for my ovaries.
They do. It's so much judgment. It's so much judgment, like in the comments, and that's why now I don't read my comments as much as I used to. Like, I'll read like the first maybe like 30 minutes of comments or whatever when I know it's like my supporters showing up. But other than that, I don't read the comments too much because the comments get so negative. You know, it's no pleasing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They judge you for talking about church people. Then there's other people commenting saying that's why I don't go to church. And I hate those comments too.
Yeah.
I really hate those comments. But it's just so much, and you can't be perfect. You can't fulfill everybody. You can't satisfy everybody. And it's a lot to take on. For sure.
So back to you. What is your advice?
Excuse me.
Oh, no, you're okay. What is your advice to others who desire to be influencers or digital content creators? What is Lailah Lynn? Listen, you've done amassed all of these views, these followers. This platform, your platform is huge, and thank God for it. Like, to see you, I don't know if you know the way people look up to you. Like, I know that you know that, but I don't know if you know that, that makes sense. Because, you know, my platform is not large. However, when girls come up to me, somebody just DM'd me and was like, "Oh my God, I've read all your books," and I'm like, "Girl, it's just me." And then when I reach out to others like you, y'all like, "Girl, it's me," and I'm like, "Oh, everybody's the same." So I don't know if you realize how much people look up to you. I've seen people pattern themselves off of you in a great way, and that are just influenced by you. That's why I consider you an influencer. So what would your advice be? Y'all, this $1 million advice, write it down. Okay. Right.
So you said my advice specifically to people who want to be influencers?
And digital content creators.
Okay. I would say number one, examine your motives. Like, do you want to be like a content creator for money? Do you want to be a content creator because you want to be like out there, like you want to be well known? Examine your reasons. Neither of those reasons are wrong, but it's just important to know your reason, because that can help you choose like your niche, like the field you go into. Like, let's say you want to do it specifically for money, like you want to make as most money as you can as a content creator. Then you to go into a field where you can sell products, or you can recommend products and get affiliate commission and things like that. If you know that you want to do it, because it's hard for me. Like I said, I'm an introvert. You can see that in my name. It's hard for me to imagine just wanting to be out there. But I know some people just want to be, well known. They want that influence. So if that's something that you're after, that can also influence the niche that you choose to go into. Like go into something where you would stand out. Let's say if you're a tech blogger, it might be kind of hard to stand out as a tech blogger, because of course the purpose of the content, like you're showing products, you know what I mean? So that might be a challenge for you. But maybe something where, let's say you're funny and you're, reviewing shows or something like that, that might be a better option for you to be well known, because you're showing your skills, your comedic skills. So I would say start with that, the reason you want to be an influencer. Number two, I would say, consider it as a business, because it all is just a business. So I would say consider it as a business and learn about it as much as you can from the business standpoint, not just the creative standpoint, because at the end of the day, the business side is what sustains you. Like, you can be as creative as you want, but if you're broke, more than likely you're not tapped into your creativity. You know what I mean? Because you're not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my second piece of advice. My third piece, I always tell people, like we said, be flexible. I always tell people that, because it made such a difference in my career as a blogger, being flexible and being willing to like switch gears, switch lanes, and see, what do people want from me? What do I enjoy? How can I merge that? That would be the third piece of advice. And number four, I would say have fun. Because if you're not having fun, like, you're going to quit more than likely.
Yeah.
So have fun. That would be my last piece of advice.
Okay, and I'm gonna add to her advice. My addition is y'all need to take the Business of Blogging class by Lailah Lynn. Y'all need to take that class. I am gonna have a link down in the bio. I definitely am a Lailah Lynn student. Okay, so make sure you guys go ahead and take that class. Obviously, she knows what she's talking about. And there are people out here offering classes and I'm like, we got the same amount of followers. I'm confused.
That's okay, though. That's okay. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
It's because YouTube, social media is a funny thing where your followers, just because you have a lot of followers, doesn't really mean anything. It just means you have a lot of followers. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that one person is more talented, more skilled, more educated than the next.
Yeah.
That's not what it means at all. So people can come, let's say someone has a background in something, and then they come to social media and they just might randomly not get into the algorithm like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I have a lot of followers because the content I was making at a certain point in time was really in the algorithm like that. But let's just say someone comes to social media with a strong academic or professional background, but they just never get into the algorithm like that. Let's say they don't use the right words, don't use the right graphics, they don't do things the way a social media algorithm would pick them up. Let's say they Black, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we see things about TikTok only reading the white skin. They don't even know we there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of reasons why people might get on social media and not get a big following, but that doesn't mean that they're not qualified, to teach, unless they're teaching how to grow a big following and they don't have a big following. That's different. But other than that, it doesn't mean they're not qualified to teach something that they're, proficient in.
Absolutely. That is true. I apologize. No.
I just want to say, I feel like it's important. Like, yes, numbers are important. Growing a following is important, but it's not everything. It's not everything.
I agree. With that being said, we have talked about having faith in God, having faith in you, having faith in your brain. If y'all are not following Lailah Lynn Media, y'all need to. She knows what she's doing. She is a whole boss out here in these streets. So, Lailah, last question. What is next for Lailah Lynn?
Well, a couple things. One, the course you mentioned, the Business of Blogging with Lailah Lynn. I'm going to update that course to include artificial intelligence and including that as a content creator, how that can make your life easier. So that's one thing that's on the horizon. Hopefully by the end of this year, that'll be done. And then I have another course coming out. This one is for introverted entrepreneurs. And that's why I have the innovative introvert.
I love that.
Because approaching business as an introvert in the digital space, sometimes it's a challenge. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I have a course coming up on that. And then, of course, more celebrity news, more gossip, more celebrity news and entertainment on my channel.
All right. Well, y'all have heard it here. Besties, let's go support and use this advice to help grow your business, your level of influence, and whatever you're doing. Even if you're not an influencer, your life, you can implement these things into your life. So I love you guys. Love you, Lailah. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this invitation. This is like a motivating conversation for me. Because like I said, I've been going through it day in and day out. Yeah. So this is a little reminder, like, you know what? Somebody want to talk to you. Yes. Somebody think you got something to say.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.